The sound was sharp. The cake hit the bottom of the trash bin like something discarded, worthless. My daughter's eyes trembled before the tears fell. She looked at me as if asking if she was allowed to feel hurt. My wife stood by the counter, silent, her arms folded. Her mother's voice cut the air like a blade. She doesn't deserve a celebration. The room froze around me. I forced my hands still against the table. Rage wanted to climb into my throat, but I swallowed it back, pressing it into silence. My daughter blinked her tears away, lifted her tablet, and smiled. "Grandma, I made you a special video." She pressed play. The air shifted, the screen lit her face, and the sound of laughter, her laughter, filled the room. But beneath it was something else, a recording, muffled voices, my wife's, her mother's, words I wasn't supposed to hear. I leaned forward. "You should have told him. He thinks she's his. You're lucky she looks like you." The video ended. Silence stretched long enough to strangle us all. My wife's eyes darted to mine. Her mother's mouth stiffened. And inside me, something cold woke up. The words repeated in my head like a drill. He thinks she's his. I stared at my daughter's small hands still holding the tablet. She looked proud. She didn't understand what she had just released into the room. My wife's lips parted, then closed again. Her mother muttered something about children and their silly games, but I heard nothing past the echo of that single truth. Not mine. The thought clawed through my ribs, scraping bone. I didn't speak. Not then. Not in front of my daughter. My silence was deliberate, dangerous. When she went upstairs, I followed with my eyes, memorizing the rhythm of her steps, the sound of her door closing. I stayed seated. My wife avoided my gaze, cleaning crumbs that weren't there. Her mother's smugness returned too quickly, as though daring me to react. I didn't. I let the suspicion grow in silence, feeding it. I let them both believe I had accepted the lie. The following days became performance. I smiled at breakfast, asked about work, kissed my wife's cheek with measured lips. Inside, I dissected every word, every glance. At night, when they slept, I opened drawers, searched receipts, scrolled through call logs. I found nothing concrete, only shadows that pointed toward truth. Still, I wanted certainty. A toothbrush left at her office, a late-night text to a number she erased before morning. I memorized patterns, and then I made my move. A quiet swab, a hair left on the pillow, a sealed envelope mailed to a lab under a false name. Waiting was agony. Each day stretched thin, but I remained composed. My daughter laughed in the living room. I laughed with her. My wife held my hand. I held hers back. I wondered if she could feel the tremor beneath my skin. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, thin, clinical. I opened it in my study. Words, percentages, a number so absolute it cut the last thread of denial. 0% probability. I sat for a long time, the paper trembling between my fingers, though my face was stone. Later that night, I placed the report on the kitchen counter. No words, just the evidence. My wife entered. She froze when she saw it. Her hands shook. She whispered my name, but I said nothing. Her mother appeared behind her, saw the paper, went pale. It was strange watching them unravel while I remained intact, like observing strangers in a storm I'd already prepared for. I didn't ask questions, I didn't shout, I simply watched them fall apart. The next morning, I drove my daughter to school. She hummed beside me, oblivious to the war burning behind her. When I returned, I packed. Not clothes, not essentials. Documents, bank accounts, custody papers already drafted by a lawyer I had contacted weeks earlier when suspicion first sparked. I left them on the dining table, neatly stacked, a silent weapon. When my wife came home, she saw them waiting. Her face collapsed. "This isn't fair," she whispered. "Fair?" My voice was low, controlled. You let me raise a child believing she was mine. That's not fairness, that's theft. Her mother tried to speak. I silenced her with a glance so sharp she stepped back. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The truth did the cutting. I left that night. My daughter was not of my blood, but she was still my world. The papers ensured she would stay with me. I didn't look back when I closed the door. Some lies rot slowly. Others collapse in a single strike. Hers collapsed. I felt no pity as I walked into the night air, the report still folded in my pocket. The numbers had ended everything. And as the door shut behind me, I realized something simple, brutal, and final. Love can be forged. Blood is irrelevant. But betrayal is permanent.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.